Welcome back to Yankees Baseball Daily, and I'm joined by Phil Hughes. And Phil, after the way last season unraveled for you, you had some injuries, you had some disappointment. As you head into spring training right now, what kind of goals do you have ahead of you?
Well, I think my number one goal is just to have a healthy season. I feel like if I'm healthy and have a good spring, I can, sort of jump into the regular season, have a good season, and be productive and help the team win. So, first goal always is being healthy and just being able to take the ball every 5 days and being competitive.
Now, to that end, you spent the off-season at Athletes Performance in California. That was a daily ritual for you. Why was it so important for you to spend your off-season conditioning, training, getting all that out of the way?
Yeah, coming into spring training, I didn't want there to be any excuses. If things didn't work out the way I wanted them to work out, I didn't want to say, oh, well, I could have done this better, or I could have trained harder. And so I wanted to get all that out of the way, come into camp with a good mindset, and just be ready to work, and so that's why I did it.
At this time last year, you're an 18-game winner, you're an all-star, no question marks. But now you come into this spring training, it's your 6th spring training, and there are some questions. What can Phil Hughes give the Yankees? What do you say to those questions?
Well, I hope I can give them a lot. Obviously, fighting for a spot as a 5th starter, and we have a lot of really good pitchers on this team, and I'm hoping I can get back to early 2010 form and be a guy that we can rely on. And you can never have too much starting pitching, and I feel like I can be a key contributor for this team, and I'm hoping that I get the shot to do that.
How about that competition, the fact that it seems as if it's you and Freddie Garcia for that 5th spot in the rotation? Does that motivate you, knowing that you have to go out there, show Girardi, show Rothschild exactly what you can do to earn that spot?
Yeah, I think so. I try to come into spring every year, no matter what the situation is, with that same attitude of coming out in the games and throwing as well as I can, even if I have a spot or I don't have a spot or whatever the situation is. So that doesn't change this year. I want to come out and throw the ball really well, and other than that, just make the decisions hard, and that's really what my focus is.
Last year, of course, one of the things that you had to answer a lot of questions about, fastball velocity. Watching you the other day, the ball really seemed like it was coming out of your hand really nicely. I know there was no gun on you or anything, but how did you feel with that one BP session that you had?
I felt really good with it. I felt the same as maybe you saw, that the ball was coming out of my hand pretty well. Obviously location's sort of an issue early in spring, and that tends to get dialed in. But for the most part, I was throwing a lot of strikes and felt good with that. And hopefully the next BP goes a little bit better, and continue to make progress going into the games.
Is it hard as a major league pitcher not to think about velocity? You're a guy who sometimes it's at 94, 95, but then last year you had to operate with maybe it was 90 or 91. When there are so many questions about it, do you even in the back of your mind I wonder if that was 92? I wonder if I'm hitting 93?
Yeah, it's something that I know the questions are going to be asked, and legitimately so. I mean, for me to be successful, the velocity needs to be there, and I don't think there's too many pitchers out there where that's not the case. So, the questions are always going to be there, and I always have to answer them. And for me, I hope that, with a healthy spring and good arm strength, that the velocity is there, and I'm having success with that.
Now, you're only 25 years old, but there are only a handful of guys here who have actually had more time with the Yankees than you. Do you feel like an elder statesman when you look around this clubhouse?
Not at all. Not at all. I still feel like I should be the guy with the island locker, but it's amazing how time flies, and obviously things haven't gone as well as I would have liked over the last few years, but it's all obstacles that hopefully I can overcome, and continue to stick around for a lot of years to come.
You mentioned that rotation, and obviously Pineda and Kuroda being added. When you look top to bottom, and right now it's 6 starters fitting into 5 spots, but how impressed are you with the pitching that is assembled here?
Well, it's got some tall guys in that rotation for sure. I get my locker next to Pineda and CeCe, and those guys are monsters. But, you can't argue with the additions we made in the offseason. And like I was saying before, I just hope to be a part of that. You know what you're going to get from CeCe. Pineda's got huge upside. Kuroda's got the experience. Nova, you hope, takes another step. Freddie's Mr. Consistent, and I hope I just fit somewhere in there and you know, can bring some consistent wins to this team and help us get another championship.
I know your focus while you're down here is baseball, but before I let you go, I have to ask you one hockey question, because your Tampa Bay Lightning play the New York Rangers on Friday night, and that's a big deal. There are a lot of Yankee fans who are also Ranger fans, so what is your prediction? What are you looking for Friday night, that matchup?
I'm going to stay neutral and hope for a good game. I catch a lot of grief for being a Lightning fan on Twitter from Yankee fans, so you know, I have nothing to say this year with the Rangers first in the East and my Lightning not doing so well. But you know, hopefully it's a good game, and hoping for maybe a shootout. That'd be fun to see.
That would be fun to see. And the rest of spring training with Phil Hughes will be fun too, as he fights his way for that 5th spot in the rotation.